How's it going, everyone? I hope you all are having a wonderful day. I'm MS, and today we're going to be talking about Shonen Jump's next big manga, Kaiju No. 8. Now, I call it the next big shonen manga, but I don't mean that it will be as good as One Piece or anything like that. Maybe My Hero Academia or Black Clover, sure, but it's still got a long ways to go. So Kaiju No. 8 is about these monsters called Kaiju who are terrorizing the world. In Japan, the Self-Defense Force is employed to take care of any Kaiju emergence. Once they have finished dealing with the Kaiju, the disposal unit is sent in to clean up the mess and harvest the body parts, which will be used to create weapons and armor. This is where we meet the main protagonist, Kafka Hibino. He is a veteran member of the disposal unit who failed to make it into the Defense Force. His goal was to get into the Defense Force alongside his childhood friend Mina Ashido, who is now the 3rd Division captain. Kafka and Mina both swore to stand side by side one day and defeat the Kaiju together. Unfortunately, Kafka was unable to make it into the Defense Force, but fate had something else in mind for him. Instead of being a highly skilled soldier, he instead got possessed by a mysterious Kaiju. He can now transform into a Kaiju himself and fight against them. Problem is that he has to hide his transformation ability out of fear that he will get killed if anyone found out. So you get some Attack on Titan Jujutsu Kaisen vibes from the get-go. Now, the story does have a very serious overtone with some lighthearted comedic scenes mixed in with the protagonist acting tough because of his ability to transform, but in actuality is really weak when he doesn't use it, which is pretty much any time he's around other talented self-defense recruits. Now, the main issue I have with this series is its pacing. It feels incredibly rushed, which could be a result of a multitude of factors, one of which being the writer Naoya Matsumoto having some serious health issues, so he frequently takes breaks and skips a week every once in a while. So he keeps the series progression at a high tempo to prevent the reader from getting bored due to his inability to release the series on a weekly basis. This could also tie back to Shonen Jump's revolving door policy, which is if a series doesn't draw in a decent audience in like the first 20 chapters or so, they get replaced. This has led to several series upping the tempo and churning out major events early on in the series publication. I've stated this in some of my previous videos, but this leads to a series skipping over a character's development in favor of climactic moments happening within a dozen or so chapters from each other, as well as having a massive spike in the protagonist's abilities in a single chapter, which ends up being just a massive training montage happening within a couple of pages. It seems like the age of early training arcs, which comes with character development, personality formation, and motivation to achieve their end goals, are no longer a thing. Instead, it's being replaced by the character having a key ability that allows him to turn the tides early on in the series, which grows and develops as the series progresses, like One for All or Sukuna's Fingers, for example. In Kaiju No. 8's case, it's the Kaiju Possession. It's a unique ability that no one else has, which instantly puts the protagonist on a whole other level from the get-go. Let's compare this to something like the Tail Beast from Naruto. Naruto had the 9 tails, which he didn't train to use until he met Jiraiya a quarter into the series, which by that point we had already met someone who used that ability to a rather frightening degree in Gaara, who nearly destroyed the Hidden Leaf Village with his Tail Beast transformation. In Kaiju No. 8, it's already at the point where the protagonist needs to learn to use his Kaiju ability to its fullest potential. Only 50 chapters in and we have had a major turning point for the character, where something like Naruto 50 chapters in and we were still in the middle of the second Chunin exam. The major turning point of Sasuke leaving the village doesn't happen until like 180 chapters in. Not saying that key events like the Chunin exam and the battle against Zabuza and Haku weren't significant moments, but I wouldn't call them turning points either. Let me just explain what I mean by a turning point. A turning point is when the protagonist gains a new goal or one of his core beliefs gets challenged, and they themselves go through a developmental period afterwards. So in Naruto, the first major turning point will be when Sasuke leaves the village and becomes a rogue ninja working under the criminal Orochimaru. This gives Naruto a new goal of bringing Sasuke back to the village, and his core belief of never abandoning his friends gets challenged. Some of the Jonin ninja believe that Sasuke should be treated as a criminal because he defected from the Hidden Leaf Village, but Naruto refuses to treat him as such. Now, I could be mistaken in assuming the current events of Kaiju No. 8 are a turning point. They could just be a climactic event like the battle against Haku. In all honesty, when I think back to the big three, how different would they have been if they came out during this time period? Would things have been the same, or would they have sped up the series to avoid being sent out the door? Would this revolving door policy even be in place if it wasn't for them? Could the glaring hole left behind by 2 of their departures cause Shonen Jump to become desperate to find the next big series? Or am I just looking too deep into it? And this is how the company has been doing things from the get-go. Because if we try looking at this issue from a different perspective, could this revolving door policy be the reason the big three even got published at all? What I mean is, with the revolving door policy, it gives writers an opportunity to showcase their work. It also encourages Blue Nose mangakas to showcase their ideas on the off chance that their work gets into the magazine because another series didn't gather a noteworthy audience. If you think about it, the more series you publish, the greater the likelihood that one of them blows up out of nowhere. Cause why would Shonen Jump waste a precious slot for a series just to wait and see if they could draw in an audience in the future when you can bring in a new series that can draw in a new set of eyes right away? Fortunately, Kaiju No. 8 seems to have its all secured for now, and that's because of how well written the characters are. I'm going to be going into some minor spoilers here and discuss some moments that develop the character. Kafka was someone who chased his dreams, failed, and settled in where he was, but he got an opportunity to try again. Now you may think that it's all due to his kaiju ability, but that's just in case of an emergency and used as a last resort. Cause remember, he can't show off this ability out of fear of being killed, experimented on, or harvested to make weapons. So he managed to work up the courage to retake the entrance exam and didn't really stand out in any way. As a matter of fact, he got the worst scores possible without actually failing the exam. Like they have these raid suits that require the wearer to be compatible with the suit to unlock its fullest potential. The average soldier can unlock about 10% of the suit's capabilities, while high-class officers are about 20%. 20% is the threshold a soldier needs to pass to be considered for a higher rank, while captains have a much higher compatibility rating than that. The suit increases a person's physical strength to wield powerful weapons made out of harvested kaiju parts. They can also provide emergency first aid by tightening around exposed wounds to stop any severe bleeding. Now, the higher the compatibility, the more power they're able to draw out of the suit, and Kafka only has a 1% compatibility. He was accepted into the defense force on a trial basis. If he didn't show results in the first few months, he was going to get kicked out. So instead of using his kaiju ability to show off and gather a lot of attention, he used the information he learned from the disposal unit to examine some defeated kaiju corpses and inform the higher-ups about any weaknesses or anomalies he discovered. This information allowed the other soldiers to adjust their tactics and avoid casualties. These were the type of actions that got him the recognition he was looking for. He still has to continue to work hard to prove that he deserves to be there, but all of his squad mates recognize his contribution to the team. So he uses the knowledge he's gained from working in the disposal unit to provide useful information to his comrades instead of just transforming and going berserk every single time. Now, when it comes to Kaiju number 8, they have drawn in and captivated an audience, but out of fear of losing that audience due to inconsistent publication, the author has elected to speed the story up to keep things entertaining for every chapter. Does this make the series bad? Of course not. But it does mean that the likelihood of this being a long-running series is incredibly slim. Fortunately, Naoya Matsumoto has created a really interesting character and placed him in a unique and difficult situation, and he's motivated to give everything he's got to make his dream come true, especially after giving up on it the first time around. And that's going to be it for this one, folks. I would like to thank you all so much for watching. I truly appreciate it. I look forward to seeing you in the next one, and remember to keep having fun. See ya!